Hey, what's going on? This is a mercrusier Alpha 1 outdrive and a 5.0 mercrusier. Shouldn't have much difference due on what I'm doing today as far as what engine size, but I'm removing the outdrive. I've been hearing like a roaring noise. That's the best way to describe it. So I'm gonna pull my outdrive off and check my gimbal bearing and my U-joints on what I just call the drive shaft that goes up in the gimbal bearing. But I haven't done a whole lot of this process yet. My plan is, if you get down on the front side of the, on the bottom, there's your speedometer cable up there. I'm not sure if y'all can see that. And I've already disconnected it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave my trim rams connected, and when I get these 6 bolts loose, I'm going to put this block of wood right here in between, and I'm going to trim up the transom, and it's just going to break this thing loose. And that's the easiest way I've seen someone do it so far. And I'm going to break that loose, and I'm going to get back some, and I'm going to break it loose. I'm going to see what's going on, make sure that gimbal bearing is good or not. I went ahead with and got the Quicksilver gimbal bearing. All the other ones, they seem to be cheap, and I read a lot of bad reviews, so I went Quicksilver everything. I think that's the OEM that mercrusier uses. So, but anyways, when I get this thing broken apart, I'll shoot another video and let you know what I find and things like that. This is actually your grease port for your gimbal bearing, if it don't have a sealed bearing in it yet. I think all the bearings now come sealed, so it came with a plug. If I do put this gimbal bearing in, I'm gonna put the plug right there. And yeah, it should, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna pop these caps off when I get ready. And there should be some like C-clips in there that I gotta take out, and I'll punch this rod out with like a brass punch or a 3/8 extension, something like that. So, all right. Okay, I got the outdrive off. I went ahead and disconnected the trim ram here too, because when you put this thing on, it's gonna back on. There's an outdrive. When you put it back on, it is going to, these have to be in a specific position, and trying to get that drive shaft lined up in that hole and trying to fight those up in the upper position are gonna be pretty complicated. So, but this is also why you need make sure you put your gear shift all the way forward. Because that won't line up and you won't ever get that outdrive off. But there's my gimbal bearing. You can listen. It's a little noisy. Not bad noisy. I've heard worse for bearings, but it's a little noisy. And I had a little water in there too. So I'm going to get this stuff cleaned up. I'm going to, I guess, just install the new gimbal bearing, because that one's probably done for. It's probably been contaminated with water and all kinds of stuff. And we'll put it back together and see how it does. And like I said, it really wasn't that hard. That block of wood worked good. The only other suggestion I would give you, which I didn't do, I just got a little ahead of myself, put something here on the bottom, or maybe even have 2 people, somebody trimming up and the other one holding that lower unit, that way it don't slam on the concrete. So, all right. Okay, so I got the old bearing out. There it is. I bought this off eBay. It's a gimbal bearing puller, and it also came with the alignment tool, which I needed anyways. And it came with the thing to knock it back in, and that actually fits it. But the only problem is that if you look on this alignment tool, there's no hole this thing will slide all the way. This thing, it will just slide all the way. See how it don't stop it? So what you're gonna have to do, if you get this tool, sorry. All right, so it's got this screw that runs from enters here and it runs through. Well, if you put like a O-ring on here on the shaft itself and just push it up in, like put it on just like that, and put it inside, and it will mark where you're gonna have to drill a hole in this shaft is basically what I'm getting to. But if you push this up in there to where it stops, and you pull it out, and where that O-ring, if you have the O-ring on the back right here, it will show you exactly where you need to drill that hole. And I mean, you can probably take it to a machine shop if you had a drill press, anything like that. I think you could even probably get 2 sockets on either side. I don't know if I'm gonna try to use this or just use a block of wood with the ring itself. I may try that first instead of trying to worry about drilling in a piece of metal pipe. I just don't feel like dealing with that. But we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing, and I'll let y'all know what I end up doing. But I got most of that cleaned out. I don't think I'm gonna replace that seal back there. I mean, it still feels pretty lubricated. The only thing I've noticed, and I about screwed up, so when you get your puller up here like this, don't forget about your lube gear. This thing, when you push this, the lube gear comes out from the reservoir, but make sure it's on this side, because this thing will not go in if you have it flipped over, and you'll damage that. So I almost screwed up on that, but that's something I caught. Other than that, I mean, it felt pretty tight coming out. And I was like, man, is this thing gonna come out? And it just came right on out. So I'm gonna work on getting the new one in now. Okay, so I'm gonna put this bearing in, and I've had it in the freezer to try to help it shrink up a little bit, but this dot right here faces towards the outside, and these 2 little slots right here face towards your boat. So it's gonna go in like that. And I'm just gonna use this that came with that toolkit that I had. I'm gonna use that, and I'm gonna hit it with this block of wood, because it's gonna, I really wanna drill that hole right in my alignment tool. And I think I'm gonna get, when I have more time, find somebody with a drill press and try to get it that way. I just don't have time to do that today. So that's how I'm gonna try to do this. And I'm gonna put that up there behind it, and I'm gonna hit it with this block of wood. Okay, I got the bearing in. My first plan didn't work out, so I just came up with this contraption right here. It was enough I could hold the tool in place to drive it in. I was trying to use just a block of wood when my first time didn't work, and it wasn't going too well. And then as soon as I rigged this thing up to be able to hold it in place so it would stay on the bearing, I mean, it went in with just a few drives after that. But I got it in there, and I'm gonna start putting the rest of this back together. The thing you wanna make sure when you put this thing on is this intake water O-ring. I'm gonna put some grease on it to hold it in place, but when you put that transom back on there, or that outdrive, like, it may fall out, and you'll have a leak as soon as you do. So make sure I'm just gonna use grease, and it should hold it in place hopefully. So, but I got everything cleaned up. and we're going back. It took a while getting the old gasket off. So I would just always order, if you're gonna do this, just go ahead and order a new gasket kit, because I mean, it's well worth it, because if the old one breaks, you always have it. Mine did end up breaking, but I would replace it anyway just because I'm there. So finally got it back together. That outdrive was a little bit of a booger bear. Just make sure when you take this outdrive off, I wouldn't turn anything on it. Anyways, I was finally able to get to go up in there. All I got left to do now is just take it to the water and make sure I didn't pinch a O-ring or something like that. This video was helpful. Please like and subscribe and share. Anyways, thanks for watching.